Well, it is another Brands of Brunswick Tuesday, and you know what that means? More bowling balls. As if we needed more bowling balls. There are so many balls on the market, it literally drives one to drink. On deck today, we've got to talk about two from Brunswick, one from Columbia 300, and one from Track. And we're going to talk about ball motion, core numbers, and that all important shelf appeal. Cue the intro. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the rant. My name is Chris Beans, and I heard Pizza Hut now has the hot honey pizza. I have to try that. As I talked about in the beginning, we've got four new balls from the Brands of Brunswick. I'm going to put them on screen now. Bang. We've got the Ultimate Defender, the Endeavor, the Archetype Hybrid, and the Pure Madness. Pure Madness is with Columbia 300, the Archetype Hybrid is with Track, and the other two are with Brunswick proper. So we're going to go into all of that in detail, talk about some ball motion, shelf appeal, core numbers, etc., etc. Let's get started with the Ultimate Defender. All right, looking at the Ultimate Defender spec sheet, let's go through this. So this ball has the HK22 ACT 3.0 hybrid cover. Wow, that's a mouthful of syllables. I believe that acronym stands for Activator Composite Technology, right? It's got the Portal X core, the color violet, pink, and navy, and the performance rating is Pro Traction with a rating of 89 in the Brunswick Performance Index. Okay, it is a hybrid. The finish is 500 2000 C air micropad, and the numbers at 15 pounds, 2.473 RG with a .054 differential, 0.015 asymmetric differential. And it's got all the usual bells and whistles for their top of the line ball. So it's got dynamic core, that's 12% more hitting power. Coefficient of restitution means pin carry. At least that's the theory. DOT, it's got the little ring on the cover where you can lay it out however you want without voiding your warranty. And the latest acronym slash marketing thing, HK22, which has been going on a variety of different brands of Brunswick bowling balls. Side note, I do want to do a video on something about this because I feel like if you put it on everything, it's not special anymore. But that's on a different video, not today's video. Where does this fit on the Brunswick Performance Index? So if you look at the chart, we'll get it back on the screen. You'll see that we have this ball in the traction category. Now, at first, when I first saw this ball, I was a little confused because I'm like, okay, why do we have two asymmetric hybrids with HK22 in the line? And I think the answer comes down to ball motion. The Perfect Mindset, which is in the all-purpose category of pro, versus the Ultimate Defender, which is in the traction. So if I'm reading this right, this ball is going to be a little bit earlier and it's going to have more traction than the Perfect Mindset, which is confusing to me because that one came standard as well. And I was like, again, why do we have two standard asymmetric hybrids in the line with HK22? Ask the Brunswick marketing guys. I have no clue. It's a little bit confusing unless you have to explain all this, from a pro shop perspective where here's the chart and here's all this stuff. But from a ball motion perspective, I will say two things. Number one, the core numbers 015 asymmetric differential. So, anywhere from 011 to 016, I feel like you're in the sweet spot for versatility. So a lot of versatile um, options for this ball. It's not going to move sideways. It does shape up nicely in the back. Doesn't look like it's going to overreact to friction. And for people that want to come up the back of the ball and keep it forward in front of you, this might be a better option for you than the Perfect Mindset, which tends to be jumpy when it sees friction. All in all, I think this is going to be a good option for people, especially the strokers who want first ball out of the bag and maybe they want something the latest and they want to use something with HK22. This is probably going to be your ball if you're a traction kind of person. All right, let's move on to the Endeavor. So in terms of numbers and specs, we're going to look at that now, putting that on the screen. We have this ball has the Activator Plus 3.0 Pearl Reactive cover stock, and it's got the tiered hexagon core. So it looks like we got a new line and a new core. The color sky blue and silver. This is in the performance category of advanced flip with a rating of 70 on the Brunswick Performance Index. Again, it's a pearl, and the finish is 500, 1000, 1500 CA air micropad with crown factory compound. And the number is at 15 pounds, 2.54 RG with a .045 differential. And if we scroll down a little bit, we can see that this ball fits in that flip category, right? There it is, advanced flip. So this is nice, right? Because when you look at, if you look at the one thing I do like about the Brunswick Performance Index is that when they put a ball in there, you can see exactly where it fits in terms of the categories and the intent of ball motion. Obviously, this is going to be a skid flip ball. Again, I'm a little confused. Why are you coming out with this ball when they have the ethos? And the ethos is no slash by any means. That ball is skid and boom. So why do we need another pearl when we have the ethos? Again, this is Brunswick malarkey. I have no idea, but I'm guessing it's going to roll pretty good. In terms of the shelf appeal on this ball, I'm not going to lie, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like this font logo. I think it looks like hot doo doo. And the color, it's a little iffy. It's probably going to be one of those balls where it looks a lot different in terms of what it looks like in person versus what we see on the rack. And Brunswick's been having this problem lately. I've noticed they had this problem with the breakaway. The graphic looked like Pepto-Bismol, but then when you see the actual ball, it was a lot darker and looked actually a lot better in person. So in terms of marketing materials, because that's what these pictures are for on the website, I'm going to have to give this a big fat thumbs down. I don't like the way it looks at all. But ultimately it's about how something rolls, and someone out there is probably going to like it, so those people, maybe they'll buy it. We'll see. All right, let's talk about the Archetype hybrid. I feel like track has been on somewhat of a tear this last year and a half, 2 years, right? This was a brand that I felt like was really struggling with their product line, and ever since like the Strata hybrid, which I thought was a phenomenal ball, they've really come out with some really, really good pieces. And so this Archetype um, hybrid, I think, is no exception, right? Now here again, this is, if you look at the website and they've got the picture of the video right next to the marketing material, you can tell there's a significant difference between what the graphic looks like and what the ball looks like. But the bottom line really is how the ball rolls. And when you look at the track video on this, I see a ball that has a lot of versatility in it. So again, let's go through the specs, pulling that up now on the screen for you. This ball has the QR11 hybrid cover stock with HK22. It is a hybrid, 500, 1000, 1500 C air micropad with crown factory compound. That tends to be that standard specification for a lot of the balls that are like this. RG at 15 pounds, 2.518. The differential 053 and the asymmetric differential 020. So this is at kind of your top of the line high performance ball. And the color sky blue, black, and white. I think this looks 10 times better than the Endeavor. And of the four of this release, I think this one absolutely takes the cake for the shelf appeal. This one actually has really decent shelf appeal. I like the motion. Now this one with an 020 differential, this one's got a lot of torque, right? So this thing, when it sees the friction, it's punching and it's not coming back, and it's flipping off any pins that it missed along the way. Like, this is going to be a ball that I see kind of has House Shot Killer written all over it, medium to heavy oil. It's going to clear the heads. It's, again, Crown Factory compound, I think, is the equivalent of like 2500 grit versus polish, which is 5500 grit. So still not as late as a compoundy ball, as a polished ball, but it has shine on there. And of course, with all the other stuff, HK22, Dynamic Core, and DOT, right? So it's got all the stuff that you like. And if you're a track person, this is definitely going to be, one of your options you're going to want to add to your bag. Looks pretty good. Have nothing to complain about with this one. All right, last but not least, let us talk about the Pure Madness. Now, we'll pop on over just for a second to just get a picture of the Brunswick page, and I'm sorry, of the Columbia 300 page. And this is another example of where you can see the actual ball in the preview of the video versus the JPEG. Now, this time the picture of the ball looks a lot closer to what you actually get in terms of seeing it in person. Now, when I look at the specs here, this ball has the HK22 ERT solid cover stock. Got specs on the sheet on the screen for you, and it's got the Craze core. Black, yellow, and red are the colors, which, by the way, these are my favorite colors for a bowling ball, hands down. I love black, yellow, and red as a combination. Performance is high. All right. This is a solid. The finish is 500 2000 C air micropad, so this is designed for heavy oil. The number's at 15 pounds, 2.495 RG with a .048 differential and 012 asymmetric differential. So when I look at the specs for this ball, you know what I see? Benchmark asymmetric, right? This isn't supposed to be like the heaviest top of the line like you would have, like, a Madness, like, I'm sorry, as a Mindset, or even like the Ultimate Defender that we saw earlier. Sorry, the Perfect Mindset. Those are like top of the line. But this one, benchmark ASIM. So some people, they like to start with an ASIM, but they don't want like your top of the line ASIM. This is an option for you, right? So it's asymmetric, but at 0, 1, 2, it's not like crazy asymmetric. Again, a lot of versatility. It's just going to give you a little more torque and a lot better in terms of layout options than you would with a symmetrical ball where there is no drill angle because your preferred spin axis is in the thumb. 249, so it's going to start up, it's almost getting into that mid RG category. 048 isn't crazy amount of differential, but the bottom line when you look at the ball motion on this thing is that this is yet another, versatile piece in my mind. This is first ball out of the bag to tell you if you need to ball up or ball down on what's going on with the lane. And if you've got any kind of volume in your center, as long as you don't let this thing lane shine too much, you're probably going to get a pretty favorable reaction if you throw a decent shot. Probably end up with 9 spare and then shoot spare out and then make your adjustments from there. All right, so let's talk about shelf appeal. My favorite part of the previews when we talk about these balls, when we get them all back up on the screen. When I'm looking at these and I'm kind of just going through these, I'm thinking about which one of these has the best looking shelf appeal. And I think I said it earlier, but I'll just say it again. I think the Archetype hybrid out of these 4 takes the cake for me. It's just a really good looking ball. I think it just has premium written all over it. And the way that it's got the contrast set up, it looks way better than the original Archetype. Like, the only thing that in my mind they share outside of the core and the name, that's really it. It just looks like a completely different ball. And I absolutely love the way it looks as it's rolling down the lane. I feel like the Ultimate Defender, it's kind of, it's got the contrast, but that dark bluish pour it's got, just a little dull. Just doesn't scream ooh Mufasa by any means. And the Pure Madness, it looks good. It is what it is. It's a working class ball. But this Endeavor, hot doo doo. Looks like surgical discharge. Not a fan whatsoever. Well, that's what we've got for today. Hope you guys have been enjoying everything. Decided to do something different. I'm in my kitchen here. A lot of people don't realize this, but if you were following me 5 years ago, the very first bowler's rant I ever did was at my dinner table, and I used to do them actually here from the kitchen quite a bit until I moved into my office. But my office has been a little bit cramped lately, so I said, you know what, fuck it. Let me come out here and do something a little bit different. But I want to know what you think. What do you think of these 4 bowling balls? Which one of these do you think was the best? Which one looks the best? And if you were to get one, what layout would you go with? Drop me a comment. Let me know. As usual, let's continue the conversation. More updates are coming. And until then, bowl well.